Hello my friends, welcome back to Scottish Dream Productions and welcome back to a layout update for Fiddler's branch for December of 2023. This is the last layout update before a big change happens next year. So let's get into what I've done on the main scenic section, then I'll tell you what I'm going to get up to. So as per usual with every layout update, I'm going to start from the left side. I'm going to slowly work our way across all the way to the right hand side where we're going to finish the layout update, and then I'll tell you what's going to happen. I've been very busy with all these little bits of details because after the last layout update was actually my birthday, and my family said, would you like us to chip in to help you out with this? And I said absolutely. They all chipped in a bit of money to help me out, and this is the state it's got to now. It's got extra fill yards at both ends. The field is complete like I said it would be. There's extra bits of scenery. The station is pretty much complete. The security fence at the back is done. I've got graffiti on the walls. There's pallets. There's trees. I'm so happy. So to everyone who chipped in on my birthday, thank you ever so much. I'm eternally grateful. Now, let me tell you what I've been up to. So, what have I done? Well, if you can't tell from the last video, it's pretty obvious. So, I decided I want this to be as eye-catching as I possibly can, to get people to kind of look for the small details and kind of spot things, go, oh, bet you didn't notice that was there. So obviously over here to the right, just behind the signal, if you can see, there's a chap with a large zoom lens camera. He's stood on a couple of pallets so we can actually get over the fence and see. And he's also got a newspaper next to him, so it kind of shows that he's been there for some time. He's been waiting for various trains to go past. And keep in mind, this route that I've come up with, it goes all the way to the very end of its existence in the story which I've yet to make. And so, he could be waiting for trains every 20 minutes. He could be waiting for trains for every 3 hours. So he needs a newspaper to read to keep him entertained. We've got the hikers in the middle there with some sheepdogs. The sheepdogs I got from a little shop online. I have no idea if the figures were custom made. I don't know if they're commercially done in a big factory. But all I know is I just had to get these. They're absolutely fantastic for a little Highland countryside route. The figures themselves are the hiking figures from Woodland Scenics. They're absolutely fantastic. If you've got a little walking area on your route, I highly recommend you go get them. I've also got some people trying to find direction who look hopelessly lost, or they're just waiting for a train to come past. And towards the back, I got some benches that, if you remember, I had these exact same benches on Silson Steam Railway, so I thought these would be a great little addition, and you know what, they were. And as well as saying before with details, if you look close enough, the bins are overflowing with bin bags. Someone's just brought the rubbish, full bin bag one day, plopped it in there, said, yeah, that's good enough, and then left. So the bins are very full. This route's become quite a litter dumping ground, unfortunately, as you'll see soon along the front of the layout. So, yeah, there's lots of rubbish, lots of bin bags, people fly tipping. It's very unfortunate, but that's the way the world is at the moment. So I thought I'd try and emulate that on my layout. And towards the back, we've got who I call Sneaky Steve, because he's very hidden. How you doing, Steve?
Hello.
So, the trees I actually got from someone who had a layout, and he ripped the layout up, no longer needed the trees, and he sold me these for a couple of quid, so I thought I'd use them. And, they look really good. Unfortunately, though, if you saw in this little clip here, if you look towards the back, if you can see, I don't know, the lighting's not exactly great. I need to get some big LED lamps to light this thing up for next video. The foliage and the branches are falling off. So what I need to do is I need to, unfortunately, get rid of these trees and put in some ones where I know the leaves and the foliage won't fall off. Or maybe spray them with some super glue or some PVA or something, just to make sure that the leaves actually stay on the trees all year round, because otherwise it's going to constantly look like it's autumn. Now I've also added some tree stumps along close to the track, so if you can see those, my intention with those is being that, you know, the railway lines come along, the trees have grown, and they've sort of gotten a bit too close to the line. So what they did was they've cut the trees down, but only the ones that were too close to the track. Like, I don't know if you can just see it off camera down here. There's another tree there, so it would have been towering up, possibly falling onto the line. Same with these two here. They would have been towering up, getting way too close to the railway line. So obviously, Permanent Way team have come along, cut the trees down, probably put the wood to good use. I don't know, it's probably British Rail times. And yeah, just cut the trees down, so I think it looks really good. I really, really like it. And it will also give me a place to put some birds if I ever manage to find any that are actually British-related birds. Every time I try and find pigeons online, I don't know if you know the seller, Sue Paints Miniatures on eBay. She does some fantastic figures, but every time she does some pigeons, they're always going for like stupid money. Like, I think I've seen a batch go for like 100 quid. It's absolutely insane. 100 quid for 10 pigeons. You're a lot crazy. Now, moving on to the next bit of work that I did is this retaining wall here. Now, as you can see before, like I said, down here, I added some trees. I've added some makeshift graffiti to the wall. I've added some bin bags. I added those congregated, that word, metal sheets to it. I've added some litter, some newspapers, some pallets down there. And the foliage finally goes all the way along towards the back, where the scenery kind of levels out with the track again. Now, I am happy with this, but I need to practice doing, like, I forget what they're called, like vinyl decal sheets. Sort of like the piece of paper or stickers that you've got to put in water and then carefully put on a surface, and you've got to add decal fix. I think it's from Revel. Now, I do not have that skill at all, so I've got to practice doing that a few times before I do anything else. So for now, all I did was I got a paintbrush and some paint. I just did some things that's sort of relevant. We've got so from the right to the left, I'm going to try and explain absolutely everything. So we got Fiddler's branch on the right, and then we've got Lanky and Yorkie Railway, we've got British Rail, we've got someone who's done a love heart in their names, we've got English Electric, and then we've got my son's name. Now the IR, I remembered at the time what I did, but now I've completely forgot what is IR. So that's just something. 1994 to 2004, that was the time period of this layout. So the time I'm modelling specifically is between the very end of British Rail to the very early days of Network Rail. And between those time was the era of rail track. So that's the time period. Rule 1, which is always a very important rule in railway modelling, which is it's my model railway, so I can do what I like. You can have your opinions, you can say, oh, that would have never happened. I'm just going to point to the graffiti on the wall. And then, obviously, on the left, being the Scottish layout, we've got freedom, because why the hell not? Now, slowly moving on. As I said last time, I'd add a a security fence to the back of this wall, so it didn't look like the ballast just ended into oblivion. There was actually something there dividing the ballast and the rest of the scene. So I've done that, and I'll get a bit closer in a sec, but if you can see just down here, there is some hedges behind the buffers. I used some of the, I can't remember where I got it from, but it was used in the previous iteration of Fiddler's Branch when it was a load of sidings and a main line. It was a hedge with kind of some red dots in it, and I think it looks really good because you get those random hedges that have poisonous red or white berries, or they have some raspberries on it. So I thought that would be a good little addition to put there. and I honestly think it looks really good. I've also added some little shrubs. I don't know if you can see between those two just there. There's some concrete sleepers. I've also added some old rail, some old sleepers over there with some, I believe they are TPWS grids. They're meant to go over here by the signals, but there's a reason that they're over there and not on the track, so I'll tell you that at the end of the video. Now, finally moving on to the second last thing, the thing that has changed the most in this whole layout, the station. I'm essentially happy with the station. Probably just needs a little bit more weathering on top, but I might do that at a later date. Now, I'll get in nice and close. I'll tell you what I got and what I've done, and then we'll move on to the last piece, and then I'll tell you what's going on in the future. So, the station. It's been quite a bit of work. I've been taking my time with it as to not get burnt out. And I'm very, very happy with how I did it. So, the main building I got at the Preston exhibition for a couple quid. It didn't have a door. It had some pieces missing. So what I've done is I've added a metal sheet over it. I've added the circle with an X through to say it's been condemned. It's sort of getting overwhelmed by shrubbery, Mother Nature, things are growing through it. There is some double gauge timetables and advertising boards from Northwestern Models. Absolutely brilliant chap. Seen him nearly every year at Preston, so I'll be looking forward to seeing him again. Northwestern, thank you so much for these. They look absolutely fantastic. If you can see, just crouching in front of the building and just to the left of the lamp with the station name, you'll see some figures with high-vis on. Now, they are the Accurascale research team figures. Now, I was really interested in getting these because, you know, it's almost like an Easter egg, almost. I don't think Accurascale were around between 1995 and 2004. Well, they might have been. You never know. Now, if you put one of these figures next to, say, the punk rock figures that are just at the bin and to the left of the building, they're very grainy and cloudy. The colours aren't really there. They're sort of smudged. So these are probably the only Accurascale figures I get until they rectify their issue. I'm not crapping on Accurascale figures. I'm just saying they're not really the best quality. People with bad eyesight already have a hard time seeing figures and seeing the details on them. I don't want them having an even worse time trying to see these figures. So they're there for now. It's a good little Easter egg. It's a bit of fun. But I won't be getting any more, unfortunately. Now, the pop punk figures are actually, they're time relevant because the late 90s, early 2000s was very much a pop punk era. So these guys fit right in. They've been drinking. The guy is flipping off what I'm going to say is his partner. And just behind them, near the plant pot, there's an elderly couple probably muttering about, "Brr, kids these days don't appreciate anything, brr, brr, brr." To the left, there's a bench with some litter on it, courtesy of Cheeky Tech, which I talked about before. Someone waiting for his train. And then to the right, this lamp was actually from the magazine Hachette, where I think every week or every month, you'd get sent a magazine with a different bit of a layout kit. And as the subscription went on, you had more and more added to your layout. And this lamp was one of the bits of kit that actually came with those magazines. So I bought one of these. It's nice and simple. It's not over the top. I've done a bit of painting on it to stop the light bleed. It's a lot brighter on camera. But again, it's only meant to be a very weak thing. It's only running on 12 volts, I believe. I don't think it has a resistor on it. It might do. It just goes to show how long ago. It's 9 months to this day. Or 8 months. The last video I did was back in March. It just shows how much I pay attention. So the station name boards, I don't know how it's pronounced, but Stadbech literally means little halt. I'm probably butchering my family's native language horribly, but it's Stadbeag. It means little halt. Now, the story behind this layout or the station will come at a later date, so you'll know the reason behind the name. But essentially, it's just a small station. They got even smaller, so the name changed. Got those custom made, as well as some road signs which are going to go up on the footbridge eventually. We've got some bins to the left and the right. They were from Rusty Rails, as well as these security spiky things. I keep forgetting what these are called. Anti-trespass plates. That's what they're called. You see them absolutely everywhere on the network to stop people going beyond the fence and onto the track. Although I don't really think they do a good job at stopping people. All you'd have to do is hop over them. So, I don't know. I think they're pointless, but they do give a good extra bit of detail to the layout. And then just to the bin to the right, we've got a family saying hello or goodbye to their mother. And now if we pan around to the right, the final piece of the layout, which has finally been installed, is the bridge. I have had nothing but issues with this goddamn bridge, and I'll tell you why. So, why has this bridge been such a pain in the backside? So, the steps themselves were already glued down, which was mistake number 1. Mistake number 2 was the sort of foundation, so the ground level underneath everything is just some metal crossed mesh from a sort of home outdoor barbecue kit. And let me tell you, this stuff is so brittle and so bendy, it was a nightmare trying to get it level and to stay straight. Next time, I'm just going to use a piece of wood or a piece of card because, oh God, I cannot wait to rebuild this bridge in the next layout update. I've got some figures up there. I've got the road down. It looks good for now. I could happily take this to a show for its first exhibition and I wouldn't bat an eyelid. I'd be very, very happy with this. But it's got a lot of stuff to do, so let me tell you what's going to happen next. So the layout basically seems done and ready to go for its first show. So why am I not taking it to its first show yet? That's because this layout has more potential than I originally realised. And I also did a terrible job building the fiddle yards, so they need to come off. So when I built this layout, I immediately attached this fiddle yard. And that means when I raised the layout and put extra beams in, the beam went all the way to the end of this layout, to the end piece, and the whole thing became a solid layout. It became one giant piece. Now, moving it did become very difficult, but I wasn't really worried. And when I decided I wanted extra trains, I added, well, I say extra trains, I mean longer trains. I added the extra piece of fiddle yard, which allowed me to run longer trains, and that was so great. But it's not one piece. The only thing holding this extra bit of fiddle yard on is this joint here, where I've added super glue to it. Oh, probably about 10 layers of super glue. So where you can see those little dashes, they are filled to hell with super glue. And where the baseboard ends meet, that's super glued together and a couple of screws. It's not structurally sound because when I take this support out here, the whole thing starts to droop. And it was the same issue I had with the white panel on the other side of the layout when I added that big bulky H&M controller. It was too heavy and it was starting to sag. It was starting to warp. That's going to shorten the lifespan of this layout exponentially. So the plan is this whole fiddle yard section is going to come off. The scenic section is going to stay as it is, apart from the track possibly getting relayed because it's a very, very long piece of track, and it'll help me improve the wiring and conductivity, which will allow the trains to run better. So the end pieces are going to come off. And if you remember, I have technically a third layout back at my parents' place. The layout that I saved from Preston District Model Railway Society. Those baseboards are just sitting there rotting. Instead of letting that happen, I'm going to add 2 baseboards to each side, a small one and a long one. Which way around I'll do it yet, I don't know. But this layout is going to become a full round loop. It's going to have a full scenic section and a fiddle yard at the back, which will allow me to run longer trains and just have more running capabilities. I'm really, really excited for what comes next year, and I'm really excited for you guys to come on the journey with me. So the plan is, for now, the layout is technically going to be decommissioned. I mean, just put out of service. The track, the mainline track, not the bay platform track, the mainline track up to the points going that way. So all this track here is going to get relayed. This bridge is going to have to come out. It's going to have to get redone. The scenery is going to be absolutely fantastic. It will allow me to expand the story further of the layout. And I'm just really, really excited for this. I cannot wait to get started. I want to start right now. I want to take an axe to this thing and just go berserk. But for now, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Thank you so much for being patient. And for those who said they were excited to see the next layout update in the Facebook groups, thank you. The fact that I have someone waiting to see the next thing that comes out on a stupid little project I've got just means the world to me. So this is me signing off for this year with the last layout update of 2023. The next layout update might be in February. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Thank you for coming back. Thank you for sticking around. And thank you for all the support you've given me this year. I cannot thank you enough. I'm going to keep thanking you until it becomes annoying and you're going to deal with it anyway. So, for now guys, see you next year. If you liked the video, leave a like and a good comment. If you didn't like it, leave a dislike and a bad comment. And as always, my friends, I will see you in the next video and see you later. Bye for now.